Hey there, Wondering Watchers. Welcome to this unboxing and flip through of the Literary Tarot. This is the very first tarot deck that I backed on Kickstarter in June 2021. So that means I, along with all the other backers, have been waiting 2 years for this tarot deck to come out. I pretty much forgot what this deck was about and had to look at the Kickstarter campaign again to even remember. There were several stretch goal rewards for this campaign. I believe it raised almost $800,000. Most of the rewards were like improving the quality of the cards and the guidebook, but I believe there are some postcards, and yes, I also added on a tablecloth. So this is the tablecloth here. What's interesting is in the past 2 years since backing this deck, I realized that tablecloths are not my jam. So, looks pretty sticky, but let's take a look at this. All right. Here, there's this gold kind of sticky kind of material on top of this black cloth, but at least it's not kind of tearing off. But here you can see, pretty nice. It's 20 inches by 20 inches. You know, maybe I'll give it a try. The top of the material feels a little bit like, almost like vinyl. So maybe it helps the cards stick to it a bit. Maybe I'll do the deck interview using this tarot cloth at the end. Okay, so this deck was created by the Brink Literacy Project. It's a literacy nonprofit that aims to provide life-changing opportunities through the written word and improve literacy rates through storytelling. Now, this is just paper, and that's just the rest of the box. And, oh, here are some more stretch goal rewards. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so here is, looks like a pin of some sort. I can get it open. And here it's like a book, candles, quills, inks. I think it has to do with the different suits in this deck. The suits were kind of changed to go along with the literacy theme or the literature theme. The wands are now considered ink. Cups are considered light. Swords are quills, and pentacles or coins is parchment. So we'll see how that kind of flows or doesn't flow. And here is a booster pack. I think these might be extra cards. Like I said, I had to go back and see what the campaign was about. I did see the word booster pack. Didn't know what that meant. Okay. So, oh, okay. So these are like, I think, additional versions of the cards. So here we have the Lovers, and we have the Lovers. We have the Magician, the Moon, the Star, and here's Death. So I do recall that during the campaign there were like surveys or voting to see which version of the card would ultimately be printed. Basically, my understanding is that each tarot card has a writer of novels, essays, articles, poetry, video games, and pretty much anything else having to do with, writing. And each person kind of paired a specific tarot card with a character or event from a classic work of literature, so that the traditional Rider-Waite illustration could be artistically reimagined, reinterpreted. And so in that process, there were kind of different versions that were, I guess, potentials for the cards. So these are like the additional versions. And here are, looks like postcards. Not sure what this one is yet, but it looks like Dracula. This one, I believe, is the actual what the moon card looks like, as opposed to this moon card. And it's supposed to be Alice in Wonderland. And then this card here, I'm not sure what this one is, but these are nice little postcards, nice stretch goal rewards. This is like, it's pretty like flexible card. The decks are 2.75 by 4.75 inches. It's printed on like heavyweight stock with these gold foil accents on the front and back. I believe with the stretch goal reward, this should be a 300 GSM cardstock. It's not really sturdy. It's almost feeling like, you know, those thin magnets you would put on your refrigerator. It feels like that. So I'll see if the actual cards in the deck feel a bit more sturdy. So here is the box. Let me get the wrapping off here. Is this box. It's like a magnetic clamshell box, and you can see it's got like a kind of like a faux lock here. And on the back it says, "The secrets of the universe have always lived inside our stories. How our literary heroes overcome each obstacle acts as a guide to divining our own futures, hopefully driving us toward an Austinian happy ending instead of a blood-soaked Shakespearean tragedy." Join an all-star team of beloved authors including Margaret Atwood, Stephen Fry, Roxane Gay, Patrick Rothfuss, and Celeste Ng as they pair a classic literary work with each tarot card, unlocking the secrets of the Arcana through the world's most powerful stories. Okay. So, on the inside, I like it. It's kind of like a library book where you have the little envelope slot for all the cards for who checked it out and when. It says, "Stories for Change. By adding this fine literary tarot deck to your collection, you're doing more than just supporting great literature and art. You're helping to bring life-changing stories to those who need them most." Our nonprofit, Brink Literacy Project, runs innovative education programs in underserved communities, increasing literacy rates, fostering a love of literature, and helping people across the globe turn the page to a brighter future. All proceeds from this deck go toward our nonprofit mission to use storytelling to change the world. Okay, so let's see what we have here on the inside. Okay, so more of the elements. You got the ink, the quill. Guess I don't see parchment. I see hearts, and that's supposed to be light. And yeah, I'm not sure how parchment's supposed to look, but here is the Literary Tarot Guidebook. So there were a couple of options for the guidebook, and one of the options was for a fancy hardcover guidebook, which details each of the author's approaches to selecting the work of literature to be paired with a card, as well as how the reimagined artwork was initially sketched and kind of changed and ultimately brought to life on the card. There are about 300 pages for the hardcover, but to save money, I opted for this little mini guidebook that has about 90 pages. And here you can see you've got like the intro, tells you about card readings. We have some spreads here. 4 different options for a 5-card spread. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So option 1, 1 is present, 2 is past, 3 is future, 4 is the potential, 5 is the advice. For option 2, 1 is the situation, 2 is the challenge, 3 is guidance, 4 is focus, 5 is the outcome. Spread option 3, present is 1, past is 2, current influences 3, new influences 4, and big picture is 5. For spread option number 4, your role is number 1, your love's role is number 2, the past is number 3, the present is number 4, and the future is 5. Wow, okay. So if you do these spreads, you don't have to put it in this form. You can just do 5 straight across if you want. And then you get into the meanings for the major arcana. It gives you kind of like the name of the card, the book, and the writer who paired the 2 together. And you have the upright meaning, the reverse meaning. So let's see here if there's anything at the end. We have looks like QR codes to get information about the contributors, about the nonprofit, and more tarot things. So basically, because the cards took so long to arrive, for 2 years is a long time with COVID and everything, the Brink Literacy Project gave all the backers PDF access to both versions of the guidebook and the front and back of the cards so that we could print them at home. Basically, they wanted to give us what they could as soon as they could because they knew we were waiting so long for this. So let's see here. Here is the cards with the gold gilded edges, and let's see how flexible. This is actually much more flexible, much more stiff and sturdy compared to these booster packs. So this seems like the booster cards seem like a different quality of paper. So this is a lot more stiff and sturdy. So I'm going to go ahead and do the close-up flip through. Welcome to the close-up flip through of the Literary Tarot. I have not gone through the entire guidebook, and I know I have barely touched the number of books that the cards seem to reference, but luckily the meanings of the cards are pretty much the same as the traditional Rider-Waite cards. And since the goal of this campaign is to get more people excited about reading, then I don't feel bad just kind of adding books to my reading list. Here we start off with The Fool, and this is supposed to be Don Quixote. Here with The Magician, the book is supposed to be Journey to the West. The High Priestess, this is supposed to be from King Lear. These cards are a little bit sticky, a lot sticky, so I'll have to pull them apart for the shuffle. Here we have the Empress, and this is from The Wife of Bath's Tale. The Emperor, this is supposed to be Hercule Poirot from Poirot Investigates, and I love Agatha Christie, so I think I'm not sure how I feel about him as Emperor, but I think it's an adorable card. Now here we have the Hierophant, and this is supposed to be from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This Lover's card here is supposed to be from The Age of Innocence. Here we have the Chariot, and I really do like how the foil, the gold foil does reflect on these cards. This is supposed to be from Treasure Island. This strength card here is supposed to be from The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Here we have the Hermit. That is supposed to be from Frankenstein. It's trying to see, I guess this is supposed to be like, this is supposed to be Frankenstein, or the Frankenstein's monster, I should say. I did read that book by Mary Shelley. It is an amazing book. Wheel of Fortune. This card here is supposed to be in reference to Vanity Fair. This Justice card here is supposed to be from the Count of Monte Cristo. The Hanged Man. This is from The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. And here is the Death card. This is for Dracula. Okay, this Temperance card here is supposed to be the Cold Equations. Here, this Devil card is supposed to be Moby Dick. I guess Moby Dick, is that the whale? I have not read that, but you can see there's a boat in the whale's mouth. And how did we get from the Devil to Three of Quills? Well, I guess I have two Three of Quills. Interesting. All right, I'll just stick that to the side. So we have here the Devil, Temperance, the Devil. Okay, so here we have the Tower, and this is supposed to be The Outsider by H.P. Lovecraft. This version of the Star is for Emily of New Moon. And here we have the Moon, and this is supposed to be for the book Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The Sun is Black Beauty, beautiful horse. And this Judgment card here is supposed to be for Dante's Inferno. The World is supposed to be for the book, and I can't pronounce it, La Morte d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory. And now we are in the inks, which is equivalent to the wands. So Ace of Ink here is supposed to be from Peter Pan, and you can see, I believe this must be Tinkerbell, this gold little fairy. Two of Ink from the Jungle Book. Three of Ink, A Room with a View by E.M. Forster. So Four of Ink here, this is The King of Elfland's Daughter. And here with the Five of Ink, this is supposed to be in regards to the Scarlet Pimpernel. And honestly, I don't think I've even heard of some of these books, most of these books, or if they're books. Six of Ink, The Iliad by Homer. Now that I've heard and I have not read. All right, Seven of Ink. This is supposed to be for Bisclaveret by Marie de France. Eight of Ink, Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Nine of Ink, The Most Dangerous Game. I don't know what the game is. 10 of Ink, I'm assuming this is Scarlet Letter. The Scarlet Letter, a Romance. Okay. For Page of Ink, The Magic Mountain. For Knight of Ink, this is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. The Queen of Ink, Pride and Prejudice. I did read that. It's one of my favorites to watch in terms of like the BBC miniseries with Colin Firth. And here we have The King of Ink, The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Okay, now we are into the Suit of Light, and that's supposed to be corresponding with cups. And here, this is for Carmilla. Don't think I've ever heard of Carmilla. Don't know what that's about. Two of Light, Emma by Jane Austen. I like that one as well. Here we have the Three of Light, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Now, Four of Light. This is Bartleby the Scrivener. Okay. Now, Five of Light, The Great Gatsby. I have read that one. Six of Light, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Seven of Light, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Eight of Light, Paradise Lost. Nine of Light. This is Anne of Green Gables. 10 of Light, Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Page of Light, Great Expectations. Knight of Light, Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. Don't know that either. Queen of Light, Jane Eyre. And King of Light, The Odyssey by Homer. Haven't read that one either. Now we are in the Quills. Suit of Quills is equivalent to the swords. So here, Ace of Quills, this is supposed to be Sherlock Holmes. I have read lots of those stories. This is The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. With the Two of Quills here, this is supposed to be Antigone by Sophocles. Don't even know how to pronounce that one. So here I have two Three of Quills, and this is The Monkey's Paw. Four of Quills. This is Walden by Henry James Thoreau. Five of Quills, Crime and Punishment. I have read that, or parts of that. I believe it's rather long. Six of Quills, The Metamorphosis. And assuming this is kind of like the movie The Fly. Seven of Quills, was that? Yeah, Six of Quills. So here's Seven of Quills. And this is supposed to be The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. Eight of Quills, The Yellow Wallpaper. Looks like this person is kind of like tearing off these pieces. And there's probably several of you who are like, I've read a lot of those things and Sony doesn't know Jack. Well, I do not argue with you. All right, so Nine of Quills, we have Macbeth. 10 of Quills, Heart of Darkness. Page of Quills, The Importance of Being Earnest. Here, the Knight of Quills. You can see there's like a face up here. And this, maybe this is the knight looking up. This is Oedipus Rex. For Queen of Quills, this is Beowulf. And for the King of Quills, this is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Okay, so now we are in Parchment, and this is equivalent to the Suit of Pentacles, or coins. So for Ace of Parchment, we have the Secret Garden. Here we have the Two of Parchment, Blood in the Mist. Three of Parchment, we have the Three Musketeers. The Four of Parchment, A Christmas Carol. Five of Parchment, Persuasion. I don't think I've read that one. All right, Six of Parchment, Les Miserables. I have not read that, but I have seen the movie and a high school play of that. Okay, Seven of Parchment. This is supposed to be for The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Eight of Parchment is for Le Fantôme de l'Opéra. I guess the Phantom of the Opera. Makes sense. Nine of Parchment, The Pillow Book. 10 of Parchment, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Page of Parchment, Romeo and Juliet. Knight of Parchment, A Princess of Mars. Queen of Parchment, The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. And King of Parchment, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Okay, so I would say I probably have actually read maybe 4 of the books or writings that were referenced. So, and I really have to go through each of them and understand why these images and characters were picked in order to see if I actually want to read some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and see how these shuffle. These are pretty much stuck together still, so let's see if I can just kind of break these up. I do think that these will shuffle pretty well once I kind of unstiffen them. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards a bit more, and then I'm going to do a deck interview and pull some cards to find out what this deck has to offer. And already it's starting to shuffle a little bit better. Welcome back. So I went ahead and shuffled the cards. I put out this tarot cloth, and even in trying to, shuffle cards on the cloth, it was sticking to the cloth and sticking to me and moving it around. So it just reaffirms I am not a fan of the tarot cloth, or at least ones that kind of move around as much as this one does. I'll even show you. So this is kind of what's going on here. And also, I'll have to say, even just going through the cards, even though the gold foil is really awesome and the artwork is beautiful, I don't feel a specific connection with majority of the cards because I haven't read the books to understand them. And so that's something I feel might affect how I interpret the cards. For this deck interview, I will just be using the basic interpretations of them, but I will also read the card meanings for the cards from this literary tarot book. Now, these are just the card meanings and keywords. The bigger book has why the card was picked, so it's not really going to help us here. But if you're interested in the books or the cards, definitely I encourage you to take a look at what inspired these cards. I know I will read those eventually, but like I said, there's so many books that I didn't know, or so many stories, writings that I'm not familiar with, that it's going to take some time to really kind of sink in. But I'm going to go ahead and close off with this deck interview. I'm going to pull 4 cards to let me know the deck's current energy its current strength, what it wants to teach others, and a card to represent a book that I would really enjoy reading. So let's go ahead and see what we have for deck's current energy. We have King of Ink. That's the equivalent to the King of Wands. Let's see about its current strength. We have Six of Quills. That is equivalent to the Six of Swords. In terms of what it wants to teach others, well, I pulled these two cards. We have Temperance card and the Three of Ink. And this last one is basically just for me, but I'll share it with you. A card to represent a book that I would really enjoy reading. A book, a writing, a poem, whatever. We have here the Four of Ink. So I'll have to look that up to see what that was because I do not recall at this moment. All right. So for the King of Ink, it's equivalent to the King of Wands current energy. To me, it's kind of like with this looks like robotic or some type of alien being, just huge. And it looks like a ship on the water here. It's just like a all-powerful, mighty force. So its current energy is really throwing off a lot of big energy and a lot of power and slightly intimidating. With the Six of Quills being its current strength, equivalent to the Six of Swords, I would say it helps people transition, move on, and kind of deal with looking for, I guess, smoother times ahead, kind of mentally release some of the things that are troublesome and focus on positive of the future. In terms of what it wants to teach others, this is like all over the place. With this Temperance card, it looks like a lot of math going on there, and these like computerized gizmos, gadgets, and the Three of Ink with this piano music kind of floating into the air. I would say that it kind of wants to teach people how to kind of deal with the current situation and find some peace so that they can really focus on what it is they want for their future and to kind of feel their way through a situation. The Three of Ink is equivalent to like the Three of Wands. And this Four of Ink here, equivalent to the Four of Wands, this is supposed to be to represent a book I really enjoy reading. Let's see if it has it here in Four of Ink. Four of Ink. The King of Elfland's Daughter. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read what it says for the King of Ink. King of Ink. King of Ink. For the War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Pairing by Brian Michael Bendis. Our world is being watched keenly and closely by a great intelligence. Perhaps it is an alien force unknown, or perhaps it's your own daring and creative mind. But regardless, you must be ready to put your existence under the microscope to ascertain how you might survive. Upright vision, control, daring, decisive boldness. To truly innovate, to create entire worlds, you must be dauntless. When you harness this power, there is nothing that can stop you, extraterrestrial or otherwise, and others will follow in your footstep. Reversed, forceful, domineering, tyrant, vicious, powerless, do not become a battleground for fear and curiosity. Take care, because a bold idea executed without care and compassion can result in destruction if others do not grasp your vision. Take heart, as all visionaries confront their share of detractors. Okay, so for Six of Quills, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, pairing by Jeff Vandermeer. Oh dear. So here, this is it. Oh dear, this isn't right at all. You've up and changed overnight and nothing will ever be the same. Whatever you used to know is over now, for better or for worse. No need to question it. Upright, moving on, departure, leaving behind, distance, accepting lessons. It's time to move on, to let go. While you may regret losing the life and the human body you once had, this metamorphosis is good for you. It will release you from the struggles and false loves to which you've grown accustomed. Reversed, it means stuck in past, running away from problems, trapped, obsessing. Maybe you've been hiding, or someone or something is making you feel locked away, scorned by those you love. Focus not on what you lost, but on what you learned by leaving. Okay, so here, Temperance and 3 of ink. Let's see what Temperance has for us. So the Temperance card, The Cold Equations by Tom Goodwin, pairing by Teenie Howard. Your calculations are precise. Every equation is balanced, each resource checked. You're leaving the safety of your orbit with only what you need, no more, no less. It's perfect harmony as long as you can keep your emotions in check. Upright, moderation, tranquility, balance, peace, patience. Even in the darkest moment, you must manage to keep your cool. Though it may require a massive sacrifice, the middle path calls, and patience and wisdom must be your guides. Whatever choice you make, your vision is clear and you are at peace. Reversed means imbalance, excess, extremes, discord, recklessness. Something is off balance in your life, your calculations crashing, each broken variable throwing you into a stressful situation. Heed this warning and make a thoughtful plan, for your recklessness could make this imbalance even worse. For 3 of ink, see that just stuck to my sleeve. 3 of ink, here we go. This is A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, pairing by Gina Chung. Sunlight streams through open windows, bringing with it the sound of the river and the birds. You contemplate all that lies before you and is to come. Indecision and hesitation dissipate like mist. Upright, momentum, confidence, expansion, growth, foresight. Like Lucy Honeychurch, you are poised to reach for what you want, to play the song of your life as only you know how. The journey ahead is bright and strewn with violets. Reversed, restrictions, limitations, obstacles, delays, frustration. It's easy to get in a muddle about what you want. Ask yourself what's keeping you from opening the curtains to let in the light. Unexpected setbacks are just temporary. There's no reason to deny yourself joy in the meantime. Okay. And again, this is stuck to my sleeve. Okay, let's get to 4 of ink. The King of Elfland's Daughter by Lord Dunsany, pairing by Holly Black. So here, whether your home ought to be in the wonder and wildness of the green deep tarns and honeyed air of Elfland, or among the warm hearths and hearts of the children of the earth, find it in joy, hope, and harmony. Upright, community, home, celebrations, reunions, parties. This is a time to gather with those you love and dance in the scarlet of downed leaves, because you have found balance and belonging in this golden moment. Reversed means instability, feeling unwelcome, transience, home conflict. You may feel estranged and spurned by those you have loved best. May feel rootless and groundless, torn between worlds. Your limbs are in one place, your heart in another. Okay, so this is what I have for you. If you know these books, if you have any books or writings that are paired with these cards that you recommend, or a card that just really jumps out and amazingly represents the writing, please let me know. I would love to hear about it and be encouraged to actually look at the writings behind these cards. So we'll see you next time. Until then, take care.